everyone, and welcome back to Aligned and Alive. I'm Sarah, and I'm really happy you joined me today. Today we're going to prep two really simple snacks and breakfasts for you, because I think that meal prepping is really important. And these are super simple and very versatile. So the first thing we're gonna do is overnight oats. You've probably heard about them. I don't know if you know how simple they are. They're really, really simple. So I have a cup of milk, and I'm gonna combine 1 cup of oats. I like these, by the way. We get that at Costco. It's really affordable. They're gluten-free because they're sprouted. So I have a little better faith that they're better quality since the company is really legit. So I'm combining 1 cup of the oats and 1 cup of milk, 1-to-1 ratio. Then the other thing I'm going to do to add some fiber and some healthy fats is I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of chia seeds. If you didn't realize how fast and simple this was before, now you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I need to make these. So the chia seeds, I typically do 2 scant tablespoons. That's because these are going to soak up a lot of the moisture, and they're going to make the overnight oats really, really creamy. This is my 6-year-old's, one of his favorite breakfasts. So I love to make these because in the morning when I say, hey Duke, we've got overnight oats, he gets really, really excited. So this is as far as you could go, but I typically flavor them and sweeten them with a little bit of maple syrup. So maple syrup is really prominent. Here I'm in Wisconsin. I typically do about, I don't know, I just kind of dump some in, a tablespoon or 2. You can always add more later if you wanted to add more later. And you're gonna let these sit, obviously, over 8 hours or overnight. Once they sit overnight, you're gonna have a nice creamy texture and a perfect breakfast that's already prepped ahead. The one thing that I typically do with this as well is I typically will add in protein powder if I'm eating it, right? And even sometimes when Duke is eating or Hank is eating it too, so that I can add in some more nutrient value because we're getting some really good carbs, we're getting some really good fat, and with that protein powder, we're also gonna get some really nice protein. So super simple. You can put this in a mason jar and put some jam or some fresh fruit or frozen fruit on top, set it in the refrigerator, you're ready to go. Super easy, extremely delicious, and let me know if you give it a try. So that's our first recipe for the day, overnight oats. Our second recipe is going to be some protein balls, and you're going to see some very similar ingredients. Our recipe number 2 for the day is peanut butter protein bites. I have been making these on repeat for the last few weeks. There is a little cafe at the university here in town, and I had something similar to this when I was there for lunch last year, and I have been trying to find a recipe very similar to it. I actually called the cafe to see if they would give me the recipe. They gave me the ingredients they use, and this is pretty much it. So this is really simple, again, really easy to prep in advance, and the way I make them, each little protein ball is gonna have about 10 to 12 grams of protein. So it's perfect when I just need a little something and I want it to be a little sweet and also good for me. So what's going to happen with this one? I have already prepped 1 cup of peanut butter. So I'm going to add the 1 cup of peanut butter to my bowl. I'm going to add a 1/2 cup of oats. Again, so this is the same oats that you saw last time. So again, similar ingredients, different outcome. So 1/2 cup of the oats. We are going to be adding 2 scoops of my favorite protein powder, which I live in the dairy state, so we have access to some really good cheese, but that means we also have the cheese factories that have whey protein. So this is Mullen's Whey. I think it's really high quality. I don't like any of the flavored stuff. This is really very minimally processed and minimal ingredients. So I do 2 scoops. The nice thing about protein powder is that it like mixes in and blends in with everything and you don't even know it's there. But each scoop of my protein powder has 27 grams of protein in it. So I have tweaked this recipe to include 2 scoops of that protein powder. And we're also gonna go back to those chia seeds. So we need another tablespoon of chia seeds, and this one I might do a little more heaping tablespoon in this recipe. But I like chia seeds. They, like I said earlier, they're a great source of fat. They're also really good in fiber, and they just add some consistency and a little bit of crunch. Really, really yummy. So we've got our 1 cup of peanut butter, our 2 scoops of protein powder, our half a cup of oats, our tablespoon of chia seeds. I also need to add in a tablespoon of honey. Now, I don't like to overly sweeten these. Some recipes I've seen call for 2 tablespoons. I'm just going to do a very scant tablespoon of honey to give it a little bit of sweetness. And honey, especially if you buy it local, can be really good for you, right? It's made with local, if it's made with local pollen, it can help with allergies, and it's just really darn tasty. So this was from our local co-op. I'm also going to be adding in a slight 1/4 cup of chocolate chips, add a little bit of sweetness. And lately what I've been doing is I've been adding in some chopped dried cherries. I like the texture of them. I like a little bit of sweetness. Changes it up a little bit. Sometimes I don't add them, sometimes I do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix all of this up. As I'm mixing, it's going to come together really, really nicely. And once I get it mixed, I will show you what it looks like to scoop them up and what I roll them in to add another layer of flavor. Okay, like I said, these come together super fast and easy, and it's nice to have something prepped for when you just need to reach into the refrigerator and grab something. I know that protein has been all the rage lately in terms of getting enough, especially for women. I know personally, when I started eating more protein about a year ago, I saw my sugar cravings drastically plummet. I wish someone would have told me in my 20s and 30s that eating enough protein was critical to not need as much sugar, because, oh man, I could have just been so much healthier all those times. I do like my sugar, but when I eat enough protein, I don't feel like I have like that mid-afternoon slump or need a little piece of chocolate or anything to make it through the day. So what I'm doing is I am using a small little cookie scooper, and I am making them into some balls, and then I like to roll some of these in flaked coconut. So this is unsweetened flaked coconut. Just adds, like I said, a little layer of texture and flavor, makes it so good. So I'm gonna do that with all of these, and then I'm gonna pop them in the refrigerator. Right now they're kind of goopy because of the peanut butter, and you can use a natural peanut butter too. They might be even goopier, but they'll taste just as delicious. So once I pop these in my refrigerator, a lot of times what I'll do in the morning is I'll have like a protein drink, and hopefully I've got something else in there that's going to give me a little more protein, like some hard-boiled eggs, or I a lot of times eat a lot of leftovers for breakfast so that I can get enough protein. So egg salad, tuna salad, leftover salmon, whatever it might be that's in my refrigerator, I'll be eating that for breakfast, and then a lot of times I'll eat one of these along with it. And that is enough. I try really hard to get about at least 30 grams of protein in the morning for breakfast. And really, truly, I'm really aiming for more, like 40, potentially even 50 grams of protein. I feel like those days that I get enough protein right away in the beginning of the day, that's when I really feel the best. And I'm fueling my body for success, because we know that protein is necessary to restore muscle and to help our brain, all kinds of stuff. And we all start losing muscle by the time we're 30. So whatever we can do to maintain that muscle mass is going to be really, really important. So all right, I've got them all scooped up. They're ready to go into the fridge. I'm going to put them in the fridge for 10 or 15 minutes until they're a little more set. Then I'm going to put them in a container so that they're ready to go for the week. Now, I know my kids love these. My husband loves these. So I'm going to assume that your family is going to love them as well. Each one, remember, has about 10 to 12 to 13 grams protein, depending on what type of protein powder you're choosing. So they are not only a healthy snack, but they don't have to have as much guilt. So enjoy. Thanks for tuning in, and look forward to seeing you soon.